Excuse me, sir. May I help you? Sir?
In an age...
Excuse me, sir. May I help you?
When terrorism knows no boundaries. And the level of threat...
I have a message for the American president.
...knows no limits.
I am in control of Flight 343.
Well, sir, I don't think this is about hostages.
What are you talking about?
A shipment of the nerve toxin DZ5 was hijacked.
Are you saying nerve gas is on board?
Yes, sir, I am. They plan to use the DZ5 and the airplane together to detonate here, over Washington.
When global response is routine.
London is demanding immediate action. There's a hatch on the belly of the 747 near the nose. We could dock there.
I know you wrote the book on assaulting hijacked aircraft, but this is 5 miles above the Earth.
I don't think we have any other options.
And advanced technology...
Who's this? 007?
...can accomplish miracles.
What are you doing up here?
Who the hell else is going to do it? You?
I'm opening the outer hatch.
A life or death decision.
Hope there's a good movie on this flight.
For 400 hostages in a plane.
Keep it going.
Or 40 million civilians on the ground.
You can forget Washington. There's enough nerve agent here to wipe out half the eastern seaboard.
Will come down to a choice between the unthinkable.
The Pentagon is going to shoot us down.
And the impossible.
I'll reach our airspace in 85 minutes.
The hatch has got to be closed down or we'll lose both planes.
Order the F-14s to intercept the 747.
Kurt Russell.
I'm losing control of the airplane.
Halle Berry, John Leguizamo, and Steven Seagal.
We're not going to make it. You are.
Warner Brothers invites you.
We're not really going to shoot this plane down, are we?
It's too late. They've already crossed the line.
To fasten your seatbelts.
This is directly from the president himself.
Everybody down!
Now you have your orders. Execute them.
Executive decision.
But I love her. All right, let's go. Gogs, go.
Well, to Movie the Podcast, that's right, Movie the Podcast. It is week 3 of President's Days, but only our second presidential film because of Alex's birthday pick. Fun fact, we haven't watched a movie with a president really in it yet.
No president's in this movie.
There's no president in this movie.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, there is.
No,
there isn't.
The guy
There's mention of a president.
They
There's no
speak
actual
about
president.
the president.
The guy at the end, the guy at the end that's like sweating isn't the president.
Sec Defense. No, he's like the whole administration's going. It was either Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, there's no president in this movie, and I've never seen this movie before, apparently. And I really thought there was a president in it.
I never saw it.
Well, you would
either.
think with the title,
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but they get like. So anyway, we watched Executive Decision. Steven Seagal's. I'm sorry. B.D. Wong's Executive Decision.
Big Dick Wong.
Big Dick Wong. It's a movie that happened, and it is. I think it was really 2 hours and 12 minutes long.
yeah, possibly
I think
the
it's
reason why
still
cinema
going.
died.
Yeah, it is. It is
Yeah,
very
it's still
long.
playing.
People in the 90s must have just been like, I don't care what's on as long as it's a movie.
We're going to get into it. We'll get into it, but I think Sean has made this point before, but this is the ultimate, like, your parents in the 90s movie, right?
Yeah.
It's Sean and I's favorite genre. it's the mom and dad blockbuster movie.
But that's the only way to describe.
You guys can rent, Night of the Comet, and your mom and I will rent Executive Decision.
It's nice to see that Halle Berry still can't act, though.
Oh, she's
Should we
terrible.
rent a Perfect Storm? Like, no, we have that at home. It's one of the 4 movies we own.
Yeah. Perfect Storm at home is Executive Decision.
Perfect Storm slaps.
Oh, no.
Perfect Storm is like Citizen Kane compared to this movie, I will say.
Well, I mean, that's not saying much.
Yeah.
Gogs, how much of this movie did you confuse with Air Force One?
Like during watching it, or
more about that next
watching
week.
it? Oh yeah, like this is like it's wild. Like it's the same. The thing that I love about this movie, Air Force One, and Snakes on the Plane is exploring how big 747s are. Like they have levels on levels. Like they're cavernous beasts with elevators in them. This movie is
bad.
It's bad. It's bad. Like it's bad. Like it's like, but it's like it's bad. We'll get into it. Like the fact that Steven Seagal brings Kurt Russell along on this mission for revenge, I guess.
We'll get into it.
And then Kurt Russell becomes in charge of SEAL Team 6 at the end. Just
I got a lot to say about the Kurt Russell character, not so much the movie, because I watched it 1.5 times because I didn't pay attention to most of it.
Yeah, I had to there was a definite stop and start, and I had to there was a middle 30 I had to pick back up. Yeah,
I thought a character was the president. That shows how much I was paying attention to the movie.
I thought the plane was the president.
Oh shit!
All right, what did y'all watch this week, Alec?
I watched one thing.
One thing.
Is everything okay? Wait, stop. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, usually you watch 12 movies.
That's what I'm asking. A baker's dozen.
I watched Shane Black's The Nice Guys.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I like that movie a lot.
I love Baby Goose in that movie. I love Russell Crowe in that movie.
Yeah, Russell Crowe's a national treasure.
Yeah, he packed on like 50 pounds for that movie.
He's hilarious in that movie.
My wife used to say I made a living off of Rumpy Pumpy. She was British. I don't know what the fuck she was talking about.
Yeah, I liked it. It's I don't think it's. I mean, I don't know. It's not Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
No,
well, fair,
but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. I forget who's the heavy in that movie. Who's the bad guy?
Kim Basinger.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no there's a bunch of not mercenaries, but hitmen, but none of them really
rise to. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Kim Basinger is pulling all the strings.
I like it because it's another movie where Shane Black has kids in it and they aren't obnoxious.
No, they're hilarious. The little girl in that movie is great.
The little girl in the movie
turned into Betty Brant.
Yeah, she's in the Spider-Man movies.
Oh no shit.
She's also in one of the worst.
Stacey told me that.
Yeah, she's also in one of the worst episodes of Black Mirror. She's in that Miley Cyrus episode.
Dad, there's whores and stuff here. Just say whores.
Just say there's whores. Don't say stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I would say it's probably. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen Iron Man 3 in a while. Probably my third favorite Shane Black movie.
That is the movie where it has the kid where he's like, if I give me $20, you can see my dick. Nobody wants to see your dick. That's that movie, right?
Yeah. He's 12. and he shows up. He's like, yeah, I was trying to get in the movie. You want to see my dick? It's huge.
So wait, so if it's your third slot, what are your top two?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Predator.
I love The Predator.
I would put this over The Predator. In my opinion, this is.
You know what? People on the internet hate The Predator.
Yeah, I do. I love it.
I found that out great. last night on a Reddit forum. People, it was talking about Last Blood and how people hated that. And then they started. They warped it into The Predator, and I was like, I love both of those.
Yeah,
I think people yell at me for recommending The Predator. I was like, dude, The Predator was great. They're like, that movie was not great. I was like, well, you're an idiot.
Well, I think too. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit on the show for different movies, but I think people I don't think people understand why the original Predator is good. It's not a serious movie. And The Predator is goofy. It's supposed to be. I don't know.
I would go out on a limb and say most people that say they've seen The Predator have not. Or the original Predator have not. And just say they have because...
It's a cultural reference point.
Yeah, it's not as good as the original Predator. Well, you haven't even seen it.
What was your favorite part of it? Name all the members of the team in the original Predator, and then let's have a conversation.
Yeah, they're the same people that are like, Predator, the book was better. It's that kind of shit.
Shit, I was a Predator. I was a Predator. I was a fan of that movie when it was called Hunter.
Remember when...
when it was Rocky in space?
Give me every video format possible and all of the Hunter.
I bring this movie trivia up every time, but the fact that Jesse Ventura's fake gun weighed 100 pounds, he was just lugging that thing around,
trucking it around.
Yeah, because apparently, like they're like, oh, it doesn't look good if it's not all rubber. Apparently,
and like Arnold Schwarzenegger, just like stacks and stacks of beef, just a little MP5. Just
I saw a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger earlier. I forget where I saw it, but it was him standing on movie set, I guess for Conan, and he's standing between Wilt Chamberlain and Andre the Giant, and he looks like a fucking midget compared to him.
Yeah. I've seen that picture. It's great.
The one that always fucks me up is the picture of him and Kurosawa on the set of Kindergarten Cop while he's in full Kindergarten Cop regalia.
Is that real? I thought that was Photoshop.
No, it's real. He visited the set.
Why the hell did Kurosawa visit this?
He wanted to see American movies get made. I don't know, man.
That's crazy.
I mean, Kindergarten Cop, I haven't seen it in a while, but pretty confident it's a banger.
I mean, it was always a fun movie.
It's one of those movies that you don't recall being incredibly violent, even though it really is.
Oh, there's he shotgunned some dude like through a wall in the opening scene.
Yeah, the beginning's like fucking Cobra or something. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Isn't the bad guy in that also the bad guy in Karate Kid 3?
Yes, Silver. He's the guy that kind of looks like a jacked up Crispin Glover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crisp.
That's right. His name is Crisp.
Anything else, Alec?
No, I watched that, and I watched the episode of WandaVision. I worked a lot this week,
which was good.
I'm behind.
It was good. The ending was tremendous.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
And apparently, I got to go back and rewatch it because they actually had a post credit or mid credit stinger this time.
It's dumb. It's not really. It's like 2 seconds. Again, I'm gonna go back to it could have just been in the end of the episode. It would have been fine. And WandaVision has half an hour ending credits, so like you literally had to kind of figure out where it was.
I think you said apparently the last couple of episodes are supposed to be like full hours.
Well, this one was supposed to be, so who knows? It wasn't. So whatever. I really enjoyed the show. So
yeah, me too. I hope they haven't jumped the shark with the past 2 episodes. Or past
Wait, is it done? How many more?
No, they got a couple. They got like 2 more to come.
Okay. Two more to go.
But I hope they haven't. And I'm sure they haven't. But they haven't played all their aces.
No, I think there's still one big reveal left. Maybe.
I mean, that'd be great if they introduced some certain family.
Yeah, it would be incredible.
Even though Sean's against it, I'm for it.
And you pass the mic to
Sean. He hasn't been here in 2 weeks. He should have a bunch.
Nope. I watched Justice League Apocalypse War. I got free HBO Max now. I guess I'm paying for it, but it came with the phone. So
nice.
I like those DC animated movies.
Is that
cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Is that what Android gives out with their phones? HBO
AT&T.
Max.
Yeah.
Oh, I got Apple TV for a year with my iPhone.
It'll be funnier if everybody else gave out Apple TV. I like those DC animated movies, but they have the last, 4 or 5 of the main continuity, I guess, ones. I fucking hate the character models. I
don't like them either. I watched I don't know in what sequence it is, but I watched the Wonder Woman one that came out, I think, last year. And it wasn't great, but the character models just suck. I don't really know what they're trying to go for. I just didn't care for it.
They're halfway anime, but also everybody. I guess it's part of that. When they're trying to reboot everything, and everybody's supposed to look really young.
Well, I think
it just makes them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think they're trying to emulate that New 52 Jim Lee look, and it just doesn't work. No, it doesn't look right.
Which is bizarre because they did the New Frontier, they did the Darwin Cook thing, but I don't expect them to do it all the time, but at least do the Bruce Timm. That's what everybody likes, right?
That would be fine. Yeah. That would be fine.
Yeah. It's good. The performances are a little stilted, but it's fine.
Are the voice actors, are they the same ones from the other DC movies? Is it what's her name? Rebecca Romaine?
I'd have to look it up. I didn't recall all the voices, but I don't think it is because they all sound very young.
Wow, the last one I watched, I think it was the Death of Superman. The voice acting in that was incredible.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. What is Darkseid Wars' plot? I don't know that story.
It's Endgame. Well, it's you know what it is it's a cross between Endgame and Days of Future Past because like everybody's taking a crack at that story and nobody seems to be able to do it except for that one X-Men book that one time.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's a great story conceit, but it's just like you've seen we went to the future to fix all the fucked up stuff. And I don't know, like, Constantine's in it, and he's like one of my more favorite DC characters, I guess, proper, since they killed the Vertigo universe.
Yeah.
And like, he again, like, even though they give him like this goofy 5 o'clock shadow that's fucking horrible, he still sounds way too young. You expect this kind of like old, grizzled, like, working class magician guy, and it's just like, I don't know. It might even be the voice for the TV show, so I could just be talking out of my ass. But
they're working on a new Hellblazer show apparently for HBO Max, so it could be good, could be terrible.
I'm still firmly in the corner of the Matt Reeves or whoever I forget who directed it, but the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie. I still think that's a very good representation of that character, even though he's not British or whatever.
Yeah, it was a good movie. We did an episode on that, didn't we?
Yeah. A while ago.
With Keanu New Year, right?
There's a lot of good stuff on HBO Max, dude. You got to watch Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next thing I watch. I can finally finish up Watchmen. There's a lot.
Oh, you know what else is on there that I saw that I've been talking about for years? The Nick is on there.
Yeah, I guess all the Cinemax stuff is on there too.
Yeah, the Nick is such a great show, and I think me and Nick Mullen are the only people that have ever watched it.
Well, I can finally watch Doom Patrol.
Is Nick Mullen?
He's one of the hosts of Comtown.
He was that quarterback for the Niners.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I can finally watch Doom Patrol, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh, that's really. I need to watch the second season.
But big news. Did you tell the other boys your big news today about what you found?
No.
Look forward to the.
So
at
they
least me and you doing a special episode on this.
It just came out. They released the Cannes cut of Southland Tales. So I texted Sean about it. I was like, I kind of feel like I need to watch this. And Sean's like, well, we should do a special episode about it. And I thought about it for a second, and you know what? He's right. So if either one of you want to join us, at some point in the future, we are going to do a special episode. The Cannes cut is 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Oh, okay. It's shorter than I thought.
What's the original? The original's like over 2, right?
It's 20 minutes shorter than the original. Or no, I'm sorry. I got it mixed up. Sorry.
20 minutes longer?
It's 20 minutes longer than the original. Yeah.
I was like, they cut 20 minutes for Cannes is pretty great.
Yeah, it was like it's like a 20-25 minute difference or something.
Is this an HBO Max thing or is this...
No, it's on my Plex. So it came out. The Blu-ray came out, so it showed up.
Oh, well, I better go order it.
No, you can just.
Well, I have a match set between that.
You know the law. You do have to get it.
Yeah,
so you can keep trying to figure it out.
Because I'm the Southland Tales scholar.
Just some preliminary looking. Apparently, it doesn't have the. I actually didn't watch the file yet, but I did some Google searching about the Blu-ray release, and apparently, like, do you remember the Justin Timberlake voiceover that like dominated the whole movie? Like where he was like, I'm a cameraman on like the edge of the country, and
what was his name? Like Shucky Yates or something?
I don't even remember. Zacky Vengeance, Sinister Dates. I don't know.
Nobody on Earth is ever named Shucky. And you bring that name up all the time.
Well, Ben Affleck and Good Will Hunting.
God damn it, Sean.
Sorry.
But apparently there's no voiceover in it. Like,
wasn't his name like Pilot Jericho or some shit?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, Shucky Daniels and Pilot Jericho.
In the near future, we are going to do a special episode of the director's cut of Southland Tales. So any of you are welcome to join in.
Do you think Pimps Do Not Commit Suicide is in the Cannes cut? Because if it's not, I'm going to be upset.
I think it's probably amended to Pimps Do Commit Suicide.
I feel like it is.
To make it
his name was Pilot Abernathy.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got Pilot.
Yeah.
Shucky Yates is a better name.
Everything is some stupid, like, half-baked religious allegory in that movie.
Boxer Santeria or whatever the Rock's name was.
Yeah, and poor Gogs read all those comic books, and he's like, "Oh wait, this still sucks."
Yeah, I really was hoping that would unravel all of the mystery, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, now I get it."
And then you realize there was no mystery; it's just
it made it worse.
Bad.
It was even more confusing.
How did this get made? People never do shit like that movie, like.
Because I've heard them bring it up before. One of them defends it. I want to say I haven't listened to that show in months. Who plays Andre on the League?
I can't never think of his name, but yeah,
Paul Scheer.
Paul Scheer. I feel like he's defended it on the show before.
I mean, there are 3 trade paperbacks that lead you into this movie, and it's still baffling,
impenetrable.
Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know when we're gonna do it, but in the future there will be I figure we don't do like double episodes of things, but this is like we're gonna do Justice League, the new cut of that, so we might as well do the new cut of this too, right?
Oh, did you guys see the Mortal Kombat trailer? I'm very excited for how stupid that looks.
It looks like fun. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm actually kind of excited about it.
I don't
know the trailer.
It's just a bunch of fatalities.
That's all it looks. Like Sub-Zero like slashes Scorpion and then takes his blood and freezes it and stabs him with the blood. Like it looks awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Does the Scorpion have blood? I thought he was a demon.
You know who played
demons have blood?
Shang Tsung in that? The guy that played Kakehara.
Scarlett Johansson.
Everybody shines.
No, Tetsuno Abano or whatever, the guy that played Kakehara in Ichi the Killer. And he was also one of the Warriors 3 in Thor for a little while. They changed him in the last one, I think. But,
I'm watching the trailer now. This looks dumb as hell. Oh my god,
there's a scene where Sub-Zero grabs the guy's arms and freezes them till they explode.
That's Jax.
It's Jax. Yeah. That's how he gets his cyber arms. I'm pumped. I was like,
this looks fucking cool.
I mean, we all say, like, if you're going to make a dumb movie, make it fucking dumb.
I like the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, but it's dumb as shit.
It's dumb as shit.
It's a lot of fun, though. Like, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, anything else, Sean?
No, that was it.
And you passed the mic to...
Teagles.
That's me. I'm Teagles. I watched 2 movies that I have... that I've already seen and that I have kind of mixed opinions on. I was perusing Amazon last night, and I was like, what do I want to watch? Then I came across American Psycho, the uncut version, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen the uncut version of this movie.
I don't know if I have either.
It's honestly, like, I don't know what's different about it. Like, I didn't notice anything. Like, maybe the sex scene was a little longer. That movie's still fine. I have my problems with that. It's one of those things where I have a hard time separating my love of the source material and the film. I don't think it's a very good adaptation of the book, but I think it's a pretty good... What's that?
It's wildly different.
I don't know if it's wildly different.
You're kind of near is like batshit insane.
Yes.
You're kind of a fan of Bret Easton Ellis in general, right? The writer, not the person.
Yeah, not him. No, yeah. Him as a person, like, makes you not a fan of him at all. If you've ever listened to anything he has had to say, I'm a fan of his books. I've read 3 of them. That makes me a fan, right? Yeah. I think that this movie is great because Christian Bale's really good. But at the same time, I think that that's part of the reason why it doesn't work as an adaptation, because one of the things Patrick Bateman is kind of a dork.
He's supposed to be more like the loser character that like everyone jones on, right? Like,
he's supposed to be like ridiculed, like he's like not something. It's kind of the Tyler Durden movie thing where it's almost like they make him like an aspirational. As weird as that sounds,
no, that's exactly right. That's exactly the point. The whole point of his character is that he always tries to project being this tough and like the perfect man kind of thing. But there's like so many instances in the book where he just does little like things where he like there's a scene in the book where he thinks this girl is homeless. She's this, but he's like the whole time the whole book is first person, right? So he's like, oh, this girl looks a little too pretty to be homeless, but because she's pretty and white, he's super racist in the movie in the book and homophobic. But he gives her money, which he never does, but since it's a pretty white girl, he does. And he puts the $1 in her cup, and it turns out that the cup's full of coffee, and she's just some, like, bohemian, like, college girl, because he sees the, like, Columbia bag. And like there's shit like that throughout the book. Like he's not. I think that Christian Bale is like too cool. Like he kind of is his projection.
Like the movie, like the book is like what I remember. I haven't read the book in a long time, but what I remember about the book is like
currently
it's the character. It's the character trying to be that good and trying to be that cool and sort of failing at it and stumbling all the time. Whereas the Christian Bale character is pulling it off. But then you're seeing the toll it's taking on him to pull it off.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like it works as its own thing. I think the movie is fun. The movie has a great soundtrack. The movie is
great.
The movie is funny, whereas there's really no humor in that book. That book is dark.
That book's dark as shit. I think the only thing that really translated, well, I mean, some like really like the craziness of the book was like when the ATMs like feed me a cat.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's probably important, like, if you're not familiar with Bret Easton Ellis, the person, like, he is also a rich trust fund asshole that grew up around all these people, so, like, a lot of his work, he also doesn't realize he is one of these people.
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of his work is, like, skewering that whole, like, scene.
Well, there's a great scene in the book where, so, like, a big controversy through the book and the movie, really, is, did Patrick really kill everybody, right? And in the book, there's a scene where Patrick gets in a taxi, and a guy in the taxi driver recognizes him and recognizes the fact that Patrick is a guy that's killed another taxi driver, and that there is a wanted poster in the police station. And Patrick like freaks out and becomes like really small, basically, because he's been caught and he doesn't know what to do. And the cab driver pulls a gun on Patrick. But because this is a satirical book and Bret Easton Ellis is trying to make a point, all the cab driver does is rob Patrick of his fucking Rolex and his money. Like, he doesn't have any moral problem with letting this serial killer go. He just wants to take his shit.
Wants to get his.
But that I really wish that scene happened in the movie, because it doesn't, and it does make, like, I think the worst part, my least favorite part of American Psycho, the movie, is the scene where Chloe Sevigny goes through his notebook and sees all the drawings of all the murders, and she starts crying. It's just dumb. And it also, like, she goes to look in his notebook for no reason. Like, there's nothing really prompting her to do this. It's just a dumb scene to make it go like, well, did it really happen? I don't know. Still a good movie, though, overall. I'd give it like a 6, 7. It's worth a watch. And Christian Bale is fantastic. And
he's
just
really
like,
good, isn't it?
he's Christian Bale, right? This was one of his like first bigger roles, but like he's just like so charismatic. Like he's hard to not watch. Like anyway, the other thing I watched is a movie called Martyrs. It's a French movie from 2008. It's a movie that I've already seen and I didn't like it, but you know I haven't seen it in a long time, and people keep bringing it up in like horror groups that I'm in and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I watched it in a bad mood, maybe it's oh my god.
A big French cinema fan, Gogs' kid.
Yeah. So like I figured maybe, maybe I didn't watch it in the right frame of mind, maybe it's better than I remember it, so I watched it today. And I gotta say, I still have the exact same opinion. It's a movie I really want to like. It's just not very good. The first 40 minutes of this movie are absolutely incredible. And if the first 40 minutes was the rest of the movie, like, it's an all-time classic, and it's just one of the best horror movies ever. The problem is that there's about 40 minutes of movie, and then the movie just stops. Like, it stops in the, like, the last, like, 45 minutes of the movie is just the same scene over and over and over again, and then it just kind of ends. And I genuinely think, after watching this now twice, I think people they just remember the good parts, because there are good parts. Again, the first 40 minutes of this movie are very strong. Great performances, great gore effects, great, like, the way it's shot is really cool. Like, all that stuff is great. But then they don't remember the other half of the movie. Like, if they think back on this movie, they're just thinking about the good parts. They don't think about the part where it just drags and drags and drags and drags. And the overall plot is fucking stupid. Like, basically there's this death cult that just tortures people because they have this theory that you can torture somebody to the point of almost dying, and then they're going to transcend to the next level of existence. So their whole idea is that they can torture somebody to the point of going to basically death and then coming back and telling them what if there's an afterlife. That's the whole fucking movie. But the pointless part is one, you torture, and this is something that the movie has said has been going on for presumably decades. They've been torturing people to try to get this to work. So one, you find out you torture somebody to death, there's no afterlife, whatever. Two, you torture somebody, they find out there's an afterlife, but it's the Christian afterlife, so you're fucked because you've spent your entire life torturing innocent people to death. And when I say torture, I mean like skin them, fucking beat them to death, like it's awful, violent shit. Or three, you find out there's an afterlife that everyone goes to, no matter what, and again, your life's work is meaningless. It's a very thin thing that they don't introduce until literally the last like 5 minutes of the movie. So I think like they knew that, oh wait, we don't really have anything. Like we don't have anything to go off of, so this is what we're gonna have to do. And it's one of those things where if you watch this when you're like 17, you're like, oh, that's fucking awesome. But if you stop and think about it, it's like, oh wait, it's not that great. I don't know. It's not a very good movie. I wish that I could just take the first 40 minutes and then just stop it and roll the credits, because the first 40 minutes are amazing. The rest of the movie is not. And that's all I watched. Gogs.
I watched two things. I watched...
Two things?
The first thing I watched was... both... Well, one's a masterpiece and one's real dumb. I watched Piranha 3DD, Triple D, 3 Double D. I don't know how to say it.
The sequel.
Are we supposed to guess which one's which?
That movie's awesome.
Yeah, it's dumb as hell.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
And with David Koechner running a stripper-filled water park. So you've seen it, Alec. Have you seen it, TJ?
Wait. Hold on. No,
I've only seen the first one.
Which one's got Gianna Michaels in it?
That's the first one.
This one is somehow the sequel.
Is that... Oh, never mind. I guess I saw the first one.
So this one's the sequel, and I guess it's the sequel to Piranha 3D, but instead of making it Piranha 3D2, they just made it Piranha 3DD.
It's triple. It's double D.
So I've seen the first one, dumb as hell, but fun. Ving Rhames killing a bunch of piranhas with an outboard motor. So that lake's been all shut down, right? Now David Koechner is opening a water park, or he's inherited a water park or something, and his idea to revitalize said water park is to have like an adult section with like strippers in it all the time. And it's like opening weekend, but now somehow the piranhas have come back and they're all jacked up on chlorine. So they're finding their way into an illegal pumping station because David Koechner doesn't want to pay for water. And they invade the water park. Cerie from 30 Rock, and she's also in Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah.
At some point, there's a scene where a piranha managed.
You got to be a big fan of her, right?
Oh my god, every single box.
It's too skinny.
But somehow a piranha like weaseled its way into her cooch, and then she gets
her what?
Her snooze, and then she's having like some sort of weird like desperation sex with this guy that's always wanted to bang her, and she's going to die.
I know how that goes.
But she doesn't realize this is happening, and when he's banging her, and then the piranha
Pause. Is she naked? Does she show tits?
No.
Oh.
She doesn't, but there's like, I mean, it's nothing but like it's Cannes Film Festival. So they this dude's Johnson gets fucking chomped by a piranha in her, and then he cuts his own dick off, and it gets weird. Ving Rhames comes back, and he's actually being pushed around by Andre from the League. And at the one of the final scenes where everyone's getting chewed up in the pools, by the piranhas. He's like, "This is my moment. Bring me my legs." And he straps on titanium legs, and then he can walk into the pool, and the piranhas are gnawing his titanium legs, but they can't do nothing about it. And somehow he has shotguns hooked onto his legs. It's dumb. It's real dumb, but worth a watch.
Real quick, what's the name of that movie with David Koechner and the guy from Empire Records, where it's like that series of bets that gets like way out of hand?
Oh, Cheap Thrills. I love that movie.
Okay, yeah, the movie rules.
Yeah, that movie's really good. Gogs, have you seen that?
No, never seen it.
Oh, you should watch it.
So I watched Piranha 3 Double D or whatever it's called, and then I watched I think show favorite. I rewatched Starship Troopers, a movie I could watch all day, every day, and probably die a happy man. I don't need to go into how wonderful Starship Troopers is, but like, it's like, especially the first 20 minutes before you kind of get into like the action of the movie, when you like really listen to what they're saying about how democracy has failed and the military thankfully stepped up and took over, and everything's great. But that's hilarious. And then I never caught this before. And Sean, you probably, because I know you're a huge fan of this movie, you probably realize this, and I never did. The scene, like when they're talking about the arachnids, and they put a cow in the room with the arachnid, and the arachnid attacks it, and they put the sensor bar up, right?
Yeah.
The scene immediately following that is when they're talking about all the Mormons getting slaughtered, and they're just panning around with just heads and bodies and just pieces everywhere. Not a sensor bar in sight. And I was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Who was it? Was it one of you guys that had the theory? Did I hear it somewhere else that Neil Patrick Harris isn't actually psychic? And when he's like, "Oh, it's afraid," everybody's like, "Yeah." They're like, "I don't know anything."
I said that.
Did you say that?
I didn't originate that theory. It's a theory that I heard, but I said it on the show. Yeah.
I don't. Upon watching again, I don't think that's true. I think
I don't think so either. But I think it's
Neil
not
Patrick Harris is legit psychic because this movie's bonkers. It is like the greatest. It is like a masterpiece with the worst actors of all time in it. No disrespect to Michael Ironsides.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because it's something that's like makes the movie work. Is everybody is in a parody movie and is totally unaware of it, except for Michael Ironside and what the fuck is what the hell is that guy's name? The big guy. The other drill sergeant guy.
Clarence or
Clancy Brown. Yeah.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, the Kurgan.
Clarence Bodiger.
Clarence's parents have a real good marriage.
But that's Cranbrook's a private school. That movie's just so good. Denise Richards is just abysmal. Casper Van Dien can't act. Gary Busey's fun to stare at with his giant teeth. I love
Jake Busey, yeah.
No, sorry,
Jake Busey, yeah.
Rube from Major League 2.
Yeah, he's in it. Rue McClanahan from the Golden Girls is in that movie. He gets
brained, the guy from Major League 2.
Oh, yeah, he gets brained. That's why, what's his name? And I had another thought about this. That's the reason that Johnny Rico gets the 10 lashes. Mm-hmm. Do you think it was an intentional, like, nod to have, like, him, like, strung up, like a slave and then being whipped by a black dude? Like, do you think that was like an intentional, like?
I mean, knowing Verhoeven, probably. It never occurred to me, but
I never thought about that. But yeah,
and the fact that the good guys are all dressed like Nazis, like anyone who watches that movie seriously, like people like that watch, like we say, like watch Fight Club and don't understand it, like. This is like the biggest like indictment on like fascism and nationalism.
The fact that they're all white kids from Buenos Aires is like like it couldn't be any more obvious.
Right? Like,
and their uniforms, like God just said, everything they look like fucking Nazi uniforms.
Yeah, when Doogie Howser walks into that last scene, like he's like straight SS. Like it's like, come on, guys. And people are like, this movie's got some good ideas. Like.
Well, again,
what about their high school sport where people legitimately get killed?
Yeah, like laser ball or speed hoops or whatever.
I mean, it's been said a million times, but like the book has been criticized for being like pro-fascist and like
and this is the exact opposite.
Well, Heinlein kind of ruined his life, like because then he made
Stranger in a Strange Land.
To be like, I don't represent that stuff. Like that's not what like.
I think it was probably more he changed because he was like a fascist. He went to the Naval Academy, so he had that in him. I think as he got older, he kind of changed his worldview, because that's like the counterculture fucking novel besides Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Stranger in the Strangeland is like one of my favorite books. It's such a great book.
Like, how they've not made that into a movie is insane. I think it's got like the Neuromancer problem where it's been optioned 10 billion times and nobody's ever made it.
Yeah. Oh, one thing real quick. I'm sorry, Gogs, if I can hijack it real fast. So, as I was looking up stuff on the American Psycho as I was watching it, so originally and this kind of made me cry a little. So originally was going to make the American Psycho movie. This is years ago, years before the
Give a hint.
Ultra Violence.
Stanley Kubrick?
Clockwork Orange?
No, David Cronenberg was going to direct it.
Christ.
But the problem was, I guess the studio got such a backlash when they went into pre-production from, I think it was like some feminist, like Gloria Steinem or something. They're like
Christian Bale's stepmother, Gloria Steinem?
Is she? I didn't know that.
I thought so, yeah.
Well, anyway, the only reason they got this movie greenlit is if they gave it to a woman director and a woman screenwriter. That's the only way the studio would like go with it. So that's
I heard that story.
Well, that's the fact, because the book, I mean, I don't know. The thing is, the book is misogynistic, but Patrick Bateman is an awful person, so it's like, it's a weird criticism to have.
It's an indictment of misogyny, right?
Yeah, it's bad, because Patrick Bateman's an awful person. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's one of those things where people that bitch about stuff about, ultra-sensitive SJWs act like that shit's new. It's like, nah, dude. Shit's always been around. Yeah. Anyway.
But that's all I watched. But I did want to bring one thing up to the group to see if anyone else heard about this, that Edgar Wright is looking like he's going to direct The Running Man, but the book version.
I would hope that everyone in this group knew about that, because I sent you all a fucking link in the group text, shows you how much pay attention.
Are they going to change the ending of the book? Because I feel like...
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Well, then, for the benefit of the group, I think we should all know that TJ alerted us that Edgar Wright is directing the 9/11 version of The Running Man.
They have to change the ending of the book. He crashes a plane into a
right.
There's no way that they're going to keep that. That's ballsy.
It's very brave if they do.
I want Zack Snyder's version of the Running Man book.
Hell yeah.
Too many speed ramps.
I'm excited. Edgar Wright's great.
Edgar Wright he hasn't missed for me yet, so.
Well, just in from the internet ticker, Gloria Steinem is in fact Christian Bale's stepmother.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
Maybe she's like, you have to get women to do it, and you have to hire my stepson.
You know, it's a movie that was written by women. A woman that blew my balls off was a Slapshot, the Paul Newman hockey movie.
I love that movie. It's great. With the Hanson twins? Was that their name?
Brothers, yeah, the three of them.
Yeah.
The original Hanson brothers.
Anyway,
back when Hanson was cool.
Edgar Wright directing Running Man. I'm all about it.
Edgar Wright should direct everything.
Wait, what? Yeah. What's happening?
Nice.
I don't know. I've always wanted. I mean, I really love the original Arnold film. It's a lot of fun. But then I read the book and I was like, oh, this is like way different. The book
is so much different.
The book is like Series 7 almost. Like it's about
because they turn him loose. He's not.
But there's a lot of like survivalist shit in the book, if I remember too, right? Yeah. Like, isn't he in the woods for a good bit?
Well, he's got to like turn in like VHS tapes of his position, right? And he's got to he's hiding out in people's houses.
Well, in the book too, like the Arnold character is basically like Al Bundy. Like he's this old broken dad. Like
he's got nothing left, right?
Yeah. It's so funny that it was Arnold.
Is there an alligator trying to get in your house?
Probably.
Edgar Wright's got another movie coming out that's like a spy movie or something that Anya Taylor-Joy is in. I don't know. He said it looks pretty good. I don't think it's in production now. So I'll watch it. Anyway, I guess we need to get into our feature.
Five knuckle shuffles. Okay,
get in the house.
Yeah, five knuckle shuffles. Gogs, what happened in this stupid ass movie?
All right. So, movie opens to I don't know, SEAL Team 6 or whatever, led by SEAL Team 6, which is comprised of Steven Seagal, B.D. Wong, John Leguizamo, Miles Bennett Dyson. Not.
Yeah. I could not. I was like, why do I know that guy?
Yeah.
And he was Miles Bennett Dyson. That's exactly why I know that.
Not Slider from Top Gun.
Hollywood.
Was that I'm sorry, not Hollywood.
It was Hollywood.
It was Hollywood?
Yeah, I looked it up on IMDb. It was.
No shit. Okay. And maybe two other guys. They're all going. They're going into some sort of. They're going into a Chechen or something mafia house in Italy.
They're in some kind of Army of Two-esque scenario.
Yeah, like they go Merc happy and blap blap
How
blap.
has that not been made into a movie?
Army of Two? I feel like it's like The Expendables is basically the Army of Two films. Like that's as close as you're gonna. I mean, that's pretty spot on.
But they should make the Army of Two Adam Driver and Timothy Chalamet or something.
Oh yeah,
I would
like real high concept Army of Two. Adrian Brody's Army of Two.
No, Adrian Brody can kick ass.
Yeah, it's true. He kicked ass in Predator.
What was that movie called?
Predators.
Yeah. Brandon Cronenberg's Army of Two.
Oh my god, yes.
Where their masks are like adhered, they're part of their face, like they're not actually like masks.
They had to grow them in a lab, and then it makes them relive their father's Vietnam War.
That would be
now that's a good movie.
But the mask is they're just their father's faces.
Yeah, Army of Two, Jacob's Ladder. So now, so they go through and they're looking for VX gas because this movie is just the fucking Rock, and they don't find it.
It really is the Rock.
But one of their guys gets got.
Come here.
Is this based on a Tom Clancy book? Because it is like 100% that.
It feels, but if it was, it'd be Jack Ryan, and it's not.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it is. I don't think it's based on anything.
Also, The Rock came out the same year, so more about that later. So now we smash cut to Kurt Russell doing Kurt Russell things, like he's trying to like use hockey tickets to get laid. What?
This movie was a massive hit.
Yeah,
I bet it was
3 times its budget back or something.
I know a lot of people went to see it because they thought it was a Steven Seagal movie.
$55 million budget, grossed $122 million.
It did fine.
That's pretty goddamn good.
Surprised we didn't get a sequel.
It is not based on anything. Like, it's an original screenplay.
Yeah, that makes sense too. So now
it took 2 people to write this.
Oh no.
So now we're with Kurt Russell, and he's trying to get get laid with some some hockey. No, I'm sorry. He's out. He's at Frederick. He's at Frederick Field, which I think is supposed to be in Frederick, Maryland, but it's definitely not by the end of the movie. Learning how to fly a plane, and then they find out that the mission happened and it was a botch. And then he's trying to get laid with some hockey tickets at a black tie event, only to then find out that we go into this ultra weird, out of nowhere, like semi slow motion, like assault scene, like where
the guy that directed this also directed Star Trek Nemesis. Isn't that the one with Tom Hardy?
It is.
Yeah. So this weird like terrorist getting abducted scene is so out of place and so strange because I guess it's supposed to be sort of a flashback that's happening. It's a flashback that's happening in real time.
Is it a flashback?
I don't know. Like, it's just weird.
Also, there's nothing funnier to me than the concept of Steven Seagal trying to be stealthy. Like, he moves around. Like, this is a much younger Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
he still lumbers around. Like,
I was gonna save this for later, but I think this movie has the Guinness World Record for whispering.
Yeah, it's all like whispering.
Quietest action movie I've ever seen in my life.
Steven Seagal moves around like a golem. Like he's just like, like the Defense Department just puts paper slips in his mouth. Who needs to get killed?
And then he comes out.
He's a Louisiana golem, so you got to put like beignets that are like.
Here's what you do: you gotta write the name of the terrorist you want dead on a popper shrimp, throw it in his face, and then
he comes out. And he's like, "It's Seagal, not Segal."
So anywho,
this movie sucks shit.
Yeah, so now we're all
so bad.
So next thing you know, a dude walks into like I don't know, a very fancy TGI Fridays and blows himself up in London.
What is this scene?
That's the scene.
Do you remember we watched that Jim Kelly movie where you also made it was like the world's fanciest TGI Fridays reference? I wish I remember what you called it, but it was fucking hysterical.
Is it extravagant as it is dilapidated? Was that
was a boat?
So this guy goes in there, like ruins everybody's appetizers, and then
pause there real quick. Yeah. What is the purpose of the suicide bomber?
It's to alert everyone that London will suffer many smash-a-doos if we try and derail the plane hijacking, which is now about to take place.
Oh.
So now we're introduced to the flight crew where Halle Berry and the girl from Romancing the Stone, not
Kathleen Turner.
Not Kathleen Turner. Kathleen Turner's sister from Romancing the Stone. They're on a 747 from London back to Dulles, and we have tight zoom ins on all of the people that look like they're from the Middle East. To let us all know that they will be terrorists soon.
Does it feel weird going back to like there's a sample from a De La Soul song I always think of. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know we were going back to that. Like to go back to the days of the Middle Eastern terror. It seems odd, right?
There's I think I said it in the chat, but there is a scene later on in the movie, like when Kurt Russell realizes that the sleeper isn't the guy he thinks it is, he just literally there's a whip pan to the next Muslim guy, and it's like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, gotta be him.
We knew it was that guy because they showed him earlier.
Well, he's the bomb maker, which is even dumber. Like, why would you okay, I'm the terrorist that's going to build the bomb, but I'm also going to be the guy that's on the plane? Like,
this bomb is so unnecessarily complicated, and then they
also talk about
they load it all on Oliver the King Platt's shoulders to try and diffuse it with a coffee stirrer.
Can we also talk about how bizarre it is that the main terrorist guy has his polo shirt tucked into his khakis the whole time?
I must say this: the main terrorist guy, I liked him the most.
Oh, he was good. He was the best part of the movie.
I was hoping he would win.
Yeah, he was playing. He's the guy who played Poirot on Masterpiece Theater. I was like, why do I know this guy?
No, he was good. Anyway,
Masterpiece Theater.
Masterpiece. So the terrorists. So this is like pre 9/11. So you can bring whatever you want on an airplane. You can bring a bazooka. You can. But it doesn't matter. There's no rules.
Doesn't matter.
So they somehow snuck AK-47s into the bar cart store, into the food service area, because and the main guy had like a camera that was full of gun parts, and they assembled it and took his face off. Anyway, they take over the plane. Also, this movie is nothing but Chekhov's whatever. There's Chekhov's coffee stir. There's Chekhov's flight instruction. Like, it's all stuff this will be important later.
The passenger manifest or whatever.
Yeah, the Chekhov's passenger manifest.
There's you find out there's one air marshal that doesn't do fuck all until the end of the movie.
Right.
Who turns out to be like that fat guy that's in like every comedy movie that's like, if there's a scene that needs a guy that eats a lot of sausage, it's this guy.
It's the guy that's not Brian Doyle Murphy.
I've seen this guy in 1,000 movies. I could not think of his name.
He's the jump to conclusions guy from Office Space.
That's it!
Yeah.
If you want an air marshal, you want him to be undercover and unassuming. Nobody would suspect that guy of being an air marshal.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Alec. He is the most unsuspecting guy. And the funny thing is he allows them to just take the fucking plane over.
He has no plan.
But I feel like they're misusing the word sleeper a whole lot.
Yeah. But they put he takes his badge off. He takes his badge off as if they're going to frisk him, but he hides it in the seat pocket in front of him. You're gonna come on, you're gonna put two and two together pretty quick.
That is the conclusions guy. Thank you, Sean. That is
I'm good with people. I talk to engineers. So now you
take the stuff to the engineers? No, my secretary does that.
It made $1 million.
So now they're flying to Dulles. They want the release of the guy who got captured. They want $50 million in gold bullion, and then they are going to skip to wherever the hell else they want to go. and everyone else just assume it's back to the Middle East because that's what the Americans tell them.
Like, what kind of semi-tractor trailer are they planning on taking this gold bullion home in? Like, $50 million in cash is too much for a person to carry out, let alone in precious metals.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what
they need the like dodgeball scene where they show the bullion, but it's like 3 bricks. Yeah, it looks a lot. Usually looks a lot more in the movies.
Well, you missed the scene where they take it to Bo Diddley in fucking Philadelphia and they flip it for $30.
Philadelphia is worth
$50. So then you kind of so Kurt Russell's like they're having the little war room meet and greet, and Kurt Russell's sitting there in his tuxedo, and Steven Seagal's like, "That's the guy who got my men killed," and Kurt Russell's like, "You're the guys that screwed the pooch," and the Secretary of Defense is like, "What do you mean there's VX gas?" And he's like, "Here's a drop of water, kill everybody in the room. This plane's going to explode over DC and kill the entire East Coast, so we can't let it land." Okay, cool. We have a plane that is not built for this at all, but it's built for something we're never going to use it for. It's immediately ready right now because it needs to take off in an hour.
Oh, also pause real quick. They're able to conference in via like things that don't exist yet in 1994 or whatever this is. Like they live stream Stephen Platt to like their like meeting.
Yeah, Paramount.
Stephen Platt, the artist from Prophet and Midnight.
What's his name?
Oliver Platt.
Oliver Platt.
Fucking Paramount Pictures invented Zoom just so we could have this scene.
Can we talk about this as another one of these movies where, because I guess the screenwriters have never met an analyst before, that makes them some kind of like military superhero, when every analyst I've met, the 4 of them, were like incel weirdos that you would never talk to or are not capable of doing anything.
But that's the whole Jack Ryan thing, right? Like, he's not a superhero. He just rises to the occasion. It's
I thought Jack Ryan had some kind of actual military background.
I think they retconned that in.
Oh, okay.
I think originally he did not.
In that movie with Tyler Perry, he definitely has like training.
Well, and like then you got the Prime series is like a whole retcon of him being a young badass, like as John Krasinski.
A Jack Ryan movie, Gogs. You're right, 100%.
Well, it's Jack Ryan / Stanley Goodspeed. Like that's it.
Did Patriot Games come out before? I guess it must have, right? Patriot Games and A Clear and Present Danger must have come out before this.
Because I feel like movies suck. Because like I remember liking those movies, but like I watched these from the '90s, and I'm like, were they bad too? Like,
I think I've talked about this when I talked about The Fugitive. They're adult movies for adults, starring people that are older than you. You know what I mean?
So,
like, it's just not a movie they make anymore. And this feels like the last gasp of that type of movie.
So the original Jack Ryan trilogy, as I'll call it, right? Hunt for the Red October in '90.
That was a good movie.
Clear.
Did you see the Hunt for Red October? That was a good one.
That was a good one. A Patriot Games in '92, and then Clear and Present Danger in '94. And those are all good movies where it's a fish out of water, right? Like he's just like especially in like Hunt for Red October is a great movie. There's that scene where they hand Jack Ryan a gun. He's like, don't shoot the reactors or whatever. Or they don't react well to bullets. And he just looks like he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. It's those movies are.
He is like an analyst in that movie. Like he's just like some dude.
He's just like Stanley Goodspeed. He's just like, you know stuff, so you will come with us, even though you don't know how to handle it. From The Rock, it's Nick Cage's character in The Rock. Yeah. So anyway, they're sitting around the table, and they're like, all right, well, we're going to use this plane that we have ready that for some reason it looks like a stealth bomber.
Pause.
Yeah.
Gogs, is this plane purpose-built for this kind of 747 hijacking incursion?
No.
Is this like the primary function of said plane?
Thank you for bringing this up, Sean. No, this was actually mentioned in the movie. This plane was purpose-built to dock with the space shuttle in low orbit to transfer supplies or personnel or something. That's the whole point of this weird umbilical, and like that's why it exists. But they're like, we can try it on a civilian plane. So they try it.
But in low orbit, there's no turbulence.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like, and I'm not obviously an aeronautical engineer, but would this plane be like way too fast? Like, would it just zip past? I guess you can slow down, right? But like,
the whole time I'm watching this movie, like, there's so many scenes where the plane and the stealth bomber or whatever are just like kind of parallel. But like, The whole time I'm like, aren't they both going like incredibly fast?
They're going like 400 miles an hour.
Yeah, like planes can't stop. They're not like, you know what I mean? They're not like, unless they're that F.
Well, you know, I mean, we watch Top Gun. You can slow
you
it
hit the
down.
brakes, they fly right by.
They fly right by.
Yeah.
So anyway, so now Steven Seagal is
real
like,
quick on the logistics of this plane because I don't want to forget this. The wingspan of that fucking X-Men plane that they're on has got to be like wider than the hull of the 747, correct?
It's going to be wider than the fuselage, yeah.
Yeah. Would nobody notice like that big? Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but wouldn't somebody notice those two huge, gigantic shadows that are just parallel? Or I guess
they don't look down. I don't think you can. I honestly don't think you can see down. I'll give them that.
You have to look up. I'm talking about if you're in. Oh no, because they come in from underneath. That's right.
They're underneath. So Steven Seagal's like, hey, I want this guy to come along because he got one of my men killed. And it's like, that's a weird reason to... Revenge is a weird reason to bring me on a mission, but okay, let's do that. So they all get in the plane, and Oliver Platt's like, you can't bring all your shit, so only bring the important shit. So John
Leguizamo... call him Stephen Platt for the rest of the episode? Because that makes me laugh.
Sorry, guys. John Leguizamo was like, hey, we didn't know what we're doing, so we brought everything, including the comic. That's like the only joke in the entire... Actually, I guess John Leguizamo was trying to make jokes the whole time.
I mean, real quick, I guess I never noticed this before, but is Stephen Platt like 9 feet tall? Because I feel like he's towering over everybody in the movie.
Oliver Platt is a really big boy.
No, remember when we saw him in Ready to Rumble? Remember, we were like, "Wow, he's really big. Like he's a big guy." Yeah.
At the last scene where he's literally talking down to Kurt Russell, like he looks like Andre the Giant compared to him.
So, can we address that real quick?
Sure.
You cast Kurt Russell in this movie, but he's the fucking cuck. Like he is.
But he's like smooth, man. Like he's slaying it.
Whatever. He's constantly.
I can tell you why. Here, real quick. I don't want to talk over you, but I can tell you why he's not smooth. Because this movie is in 1996, and he's trying to pick up the hottest black chick on earth with hockey tickets. Like that is the least smooth thing.
But also, he's talked down to by like every alpha male in this movie. Like, that's not what you get Kurt Russell for. Like, Kurt Russell is the alpha male. Like, Steven Seagal talks down to him. John Leguizamo talks down to him.
He's Nick Cage in the fucking Rock, man.
I will say that this movie is like unusually diverse for a movie of this era, so that's neat, I guess.
I'll give him credit for that. Yeah,
they hired all Middle Eastern folks to play the terrorists. That was a bold choice.
Well, John Leguizamo has a pretty big role in this movie. Like
he has a surprisingly big role in this.
Did we also talk about is this right about? We're talking way more about this movie than it deserves, but is this right about where they have speaking of Predator, the Predator scene where they have to introduce everybody on the team in the plane?
No, they don't really go in. They don't really. A little bit. A little bit. They have a little bit of jaw. Like you get, what's his name? Cappy, Miles Bennett Dyson is like ribbing fucking Rat, John Leguizamo.
And playing the harmonica.
Miles Bennett Dyson has the weirdest typecast as like black scientist or engineer. Like that's a bizarre, like recurring role for him.
You're good at this. Be this. Was this before or after Terminator 2? This was
way after. Terminator 2 came out like 1991.
Terminator 2 came out in 1991.
Yeah, Sean
turns out. So now they go.
Who knew?
They fly this.
Hey, did you guys hear the Running Man getting remade by Edgar Wright?
No, really? Amazing. So now,
am I like a ghost that only Gogs can hear? Am I like the janitor from Scrubs in the first season?
Oh, good times. So now, they do this thing where there's like an overly long, overly complicated scene to get into the avionics compartment. And I hope you enjoy the avionics compartment because we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, how the hell do you have a bottle action movie besides The Raid, I guess?
Dude, the only action that takes place in this movie is like in the last 5 minutes of the movie.
No, it's the 5 minutes preceding the last 15. Because like when they finally go loud and then it's Flight Simulator after that. So
that
Flight Simulator scene is so dumb.
It's like referring to a textbook.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, and like I guess it doesn't seem like it's taking that long because it takes place in real time, but it feels like forever when he forgets to put the landing gear down 9 times. And I get it; it's like realistic.
Yeah.
But it's like that. This is the point where they're going to lean on realism. Is just this one scene at the end of this interminable movie.
Yeah.
They've been shooting guns all over this plane, and it doesn't. We'll get to it, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, at least 3 people get yeeted out the side that no one seems to give a shit about. But that's
but it only blows up like when the plot needs it to, because they've been shooting all over this plane prior to that.
Oh, there's a lot of plot specific things. Like, can you violently pass out like Miles Bennett Dyson does? Like, he violently passes out, which I've never seen.
I've done that in college. And I came back just fine.
You always did. You were the phoenix. That was your bit.
So,
also, what kind of detonator pin is going to be foiled by a straw? Like, it's still making contact, right?
It was a metal to metal contactor. It had to close that circuit, and then the plastic would be an insulator. I get why that sort of works.
Yeah, but why would you build that? Like,
it's dumber than shit. I don't understand it, but no. Oh yeah, and I guess there's the whole subplot where there's a guy playing with a Palm Pilot, and you don't know who it is, and that comes back later. So they're on the plane. They're getting on the plane. Not Corbin Burnson sends it into a dive for turbulence reasons. Then they climb, and everything gets scuba-da-booped, and this umbilical that is completely impractical when you're moving at 400 miles an hour separates from the plane. Steven Seagal's gonzo. The rest of the team...
Gods, I'm sorry. I hate to keep stopping you, but I just thought of something. Like, how poor of a job did you do planning a space shuttle for supplies when you have to get it back before it even gets like way out of orbit? Like,
I don't understand.
What I mean?
I don't really understand what this plane was meant to do. I don't get it, but it doesn't matter because it exists in this movie for this sole reason. And then it fails. It sort of succeeds and sort of fails in its mission. So now the team gets up there for plot and turbulence reasons. Everybody,
real quick,
yeah,
they build this plane for this very maintenance function, but they build it exactly like a stealth bomber, so guaranteed the Russians will shoot it down.
Right, and it's also got seats for 12 people. It's I don't know. It doesn't. Anyway, they for plot reasons, Oliver Platt and Kurt Russell have to be up in the guts of this other plane when everything goes wackadoodle, and Steven Seagal he gone. He just it shears off, and I would say, good on him for getting rid of Steven Seagal.
The effect, though, when he cuts the thing and then flies away, you see his body fly off.
That was pretty cool. And then that causes the other plane to decompress and then fall to its death. So the only version of this plane that ever existed is now gone, but it served its purpose. So now the team's on there. There's no way for them to communicate back to Washington to tell them that they made it. The plane is down, so now it's a race against the clock before they get shot out of the skies, because that will be the executive decision of this film. The rest of the movie is just futzing about in the guts of this plane, trying to Morse code make contact with other planes and trying to sort of seduce Halle Berry, and then a lot of drilling holes and surveillance, and
this is where the whispering takes over, because goddamn, if they don't whisper for 45 straight minutes about nothing,
and people just hoisting themselves on gantries and just dumb shit, and then you sort of there's maybe a subplot where the main terrorist on board. No one knows what he looks like, but Kurt Russell knows what he sounds like, so he's got to listen for him all over the place, but maybe he set up his boss because I don't know why, but then they managed to get his boss free, I guess, and his boss was staying in a really nice hotel, which I thought maybe that's what we did terrorists in the 90s. But I know
we forgot the one, the senator that just happened to be on board.
Oh, that guy who's always a dick in every movie.
In a million movies, yeah, that guy.
Isn't there some kind of double or somebody's on the inside or something? Because I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out for a good part of this movie.
No, there's nobody on the inside, but the senator tries to what's his name from Die Hard? He's trying to be the negotiator. Booby I'm your white knight. That guy.
Fucking Hart Bachner.
Yeah, and he just catches one right in the mouth.
Did you know that guy directed PCU?
No shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
We forgot to mention it too. The one stewardess has like one of those weird Dunkirk-esque like deaths where she just hits her head and then she's automatically dead.
Yeah,
like what?
There ain't no running away from this, boy.
Yeah, the other stewardess, the other blonde one at the end is Marla Maples.
Oh no shit!
Was that really?
Isn't that that's a former Trump wife, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, good for her. Yeah, Tiffany's mom.
Also, speaking of American Psycho, the book, Donald Trump is mentioned like every other page.
Yeah.
The guy Patrick Bateman is obsessed with Donald Trump. I forgot how much they talk about him in the book.
So
how is it possible that this movie about a flying bomb getting invaded by the U.S. military so impossibly boring?
Because nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Like they get discovered. They get found. The pilot finds them and doesn't say anything. Like Halle Berry sees them.
Did they make the movie before writing the script? Is this all improv and they just got to kill time because they don't know what to do?
There's like so much like at this point we're just like dicking around for hours. It feels like until like the bomb. They're like, we got to find the bomb and we got to defuse the bomb, and then. You will use the engineer because he's an aeronautical engineer, so he knows how to defuse bombs.
Well,
and the bombs,
I know that the plane's got gas on it, but don't we need the scene where they're at wherever the fucking San Diego scrambling F-16s to intercept it?
They did that. They have that.
I missed it.
They do it all. They do it on an aircraft carrier.
Oh my god, that was like a huge part of the movie.
Yeah, they fire it up.
They do it, and then Hollywood is flashing their taillights and Morse code.
Oh yeah, with the wire where he's like hot wiring the Morse code. Oh yeah, that's right. Because he said he has the dumbest line in the history of cinema, and also the most clumsy. Where it's like, I take back every sea squid and shanty I ever said about.
It's like every shanty singing, squid eating thing I've ever said about a swabby or something. Yeah. It's so the movie just continues to progress.
This movie. We can't I know we say this all the time, and we just said it with Omen 3 a couple of weeks ago. This movie is so fucking boring.
It just plods on.
The whole time you're like, when is something going to happen? And then they like tease that things are going to happen. Like there's a point in the movie where they have this fucking like little like snake camera, right? That the army guy, the SEAL Team 6 guy drills through the floor, but he almost drills through one of the terrorists' foot.
Well, they do it like it's like
coral foot usually is known, but like he misses it. So it's like they every time they tease you something cool might happen, they're like, nah.
You know what? Like there's like scene for scene. So like, all right. So let's just get to the end of it, then we'll talk about it. So eventually they figure out, all right, the bomb has like there's levels to these bezels, and we need to like just get the fucking hand detonator. And whatever. So for some reason, we're going to strap on Kurt Russell. We're gonna let him walk out into the plane, and like no one reacts to this. Like no one reacts.
He just does that. They don't make. That's not a plan they come up with. He just.
He goes wild card then.
Yeah,
and it's funny
because he has the gun and he just goes to the elevator shaft because I think his Leguizamo is like, what the fuck is he doing?
Right.
It's funny that Halle Berry's like the third villain person in this movie. Probably we haven't talked about her at all because she serves almost no function.
She does nothing.
She's pointless.
Nothing. She's awful.
So now, so there's shootouts occur. This is where all the action happens. Is now you got SEALs dropping out of the ceiling. The Sky Marshal catches a couple rounds in the chest but lives.
Yeah, and then they finally blow the side off the plane because
they blow the side off the plane, but then they're
shooting. Well, like you said, guys, people have been getting murked this whole movie, and it's like you're not supposed to shoot inside of a plane is pressurized, right? That's like the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
But Gogs, you're smart. So when they show
debatable.
when they show movies space with like depressurization, I would think a plane would be the same way.
Yes,
once it's depressurized, there's not all that wind whipping around and crap, right? Or like sucking people out.
Right. No, it'll be that initial boom, and then when the pressure equalizes, that's why you need to have the mask because there's not enough oxygen up there.
But the people in this plane are holding on for dear life for like 10 minutes.
Well, yeah,
It
I mean, there
can't
might be
take-
some
It
scary.
can't take that long for that plane to depressurize.
Well, yeah, I mean, there might be some there might be some wind whipping by the hole, but yeah, there's other. It's that, but then they get it under control and they manage to land it eventually. Well, not the pilots, because the pilots got in like strafing fire. I think it needs to be brought up that someone gets shot earlier because the terrorists. They get their guy free, and all the other terrorists are like, "Yay, we did it!" And then he's like, "We're still gonna blow ourselves up over the East Coast." So like, wait, why? That's not right. And it's like an internal double cross on the terrorist side of things.
Well, I love that Kurt Russell is alerted to the possible deaths of the pilots by that soda can that just rolls under the door.
Yeah. So anyway,
Sean brought up earlier that this movie is like diverse, and it is. And I will also say that like this movie gets kind of a half a point because when the terrorists get what they want. Most of the terrorists are like, okay, cool, we're done. And it's only the one guy that's like, oh no, we're blowing ourselves up for Allah. And the like second in command is like, no, that's not what Allah wants. Like, kind of progressive in a weird way.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's oddly progressive in that regard.
It kind of is, right? Because like I feel like even now, like in a Michael Bay movie, they're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Well, we're talking about Michael Bay, Jerry Bruckheimer soon. So now the Poirot comes up the stairs. He's like, I'm still doing my job because I mean, technically, the plane's still a bomb. You don't need the explosives to launch the gas if you crash the plane.
We learned that 5 years later,
right? So he zaps everybody. The pilots are now dead. So now Kurt Russell has to call back his Cessna experience to land a 747.
Yeah, can we talk about real quick, like the idea that because he's flown a Piper Cub twice, and now he can land a 747, albeit badly, is the same as saying that like I can ride a bicycle, so I can also land a 747. Like these two vehicles.
Well, there's a lot of you can do this, so you must be able to do that. They do that to Oliver Platt the entire movie.
Well, I think TJ brought it up in the text. It's that old Mitch Hedberg bit. It's like, you're a really good cook. Can you farm?
So Kurt Russell and Halle Berry shows up, and she's not even like blinking. She's like, "Do you know what you're doing?" He's like, "Sort of." She's like, "Well." She like gives him some sass, and then she breaks out like the owner's manual for a 747.
Oh yeah, Halle Berry's like a Siri.
Pause real quick. Kurt Russell goes, the owner manual, it's right there. Like, he saw this on his way to the, like...
No, I don't think he saw it. I think he just knows for some reason that it's supposed to be there.
I don't know what's better or worse.
And there's like, she's like talking him through it, and he's like, it's like, this is like boring as piss. The fact that he had to like go through like 2 iterations of the landing sequence, and then he ends up at his old airport.
Well, we also didn't mention that I think the intro, if I could be, I might be wrong.
No, I mentioned that he was learning to fly.
He learned how to fly, so they tried to like tie that back together.
Yeah, it's Chekhov's flight school.
Yeah.
So if they had named it Chekhov's flight school,
and these guys have sold more screenplays than I have, but how long would it take to go? Oh yeah, Kurt Russell, I forget what his name is. He's an analyst, but he was a fighter pilot in the Gulf or whatever for the last. You know what I mean? Give me something.
Yeah, like just.
Well, honestly, though, I think what they needed was a dramatic beat because nothing happened in this fucking movie.
I actually prefer when they did take over the plane and the terrorist like walks in and puts the gun to the captain's heads. He's like, "Don't try anything because I am a pilot." I was like, "Oh, okay," because that's kind of seals that up nicely. I like this.
Boy, were you wrong.
They crash land the plane in possibly Frederick, Maryland. Everybody except for the terrorists and those 4 people that flew out of the side and make it.
When he says the ballpark, what ballpark is he talking about? Because this is pre-nationals, right?
Couldn't tell you.
So one of the screenwriters, he's one of the writers on Predator.
Is it Shane Black?
Jane D. Thomas is one of the guys that wrote this movie. He's credited as writing Predator, The Rescue, Predator 2,
Predator 2 slaps.
It does slap.
Two-Fisted Tales, which I've never heard of, Wild Wild West, Mission to Mars, Behind Enemy Lines, and
I like Behind Enemy Lines.
A TV show called Hard Time on Planet Earth.
Didn't Mission to Mars have a sexy sister film?
Yeah, Red Planet.
There you go.
Anyway, so yeah, this guy was involved.
Which one was Val Kilmer's?
Red Planet.
Red Planet. Which I think we did an episode on, didn't we?
No, we did. You did Ghosts of Mars one time when I was sucking my dad off.
These two guys are the two
brothers.
So the two guys who wrote this, Jim Thomas and John Thomas, are the two writers for Predator.
Well, and Shane Black.
These guys wrote Well, he's not a credited writer on.
Yeah, but he was there for a reason.
Okay, he didn't write the script.
Well, he punched it up.
Like, that's kind of crazy. These guys wrote Predator.
Well, maybe this movie could have been better on paper. I don't know. This movie's not good. It's a miss. Then they got some bangers in there. You know, they can't all be home runs.
What do you think? They went to the screening and they're like, "Yo, where's the big alien that's supposed to make shit happen during this whole movie?"
That bit of trivia just blew my fucking mind right now. Like,
well, how much better would this be if those terrorists, like, the bomb does go off and it's just a xenomorph egg and it's this whole like Wayland Yutani thing?
No, I mean, like, here's the thing: like, some of this is on the writers, but a lot of this is on. What's the director done? The director did Skyfall.
Oh,
he did Casino Royale
movie.
Oh no, he
didn't.
He edited Casino Royale. Excuse me. He edited Superman. This was a Joel Silver movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
saw his name.
I looked through his IMDb. He mostly is an editor. He's not really. He's only directed.
This guy directed this, Star Trek Nemesis, and U.S. Marshals, and that's it.
Yeah. Speaking of editing, can we? I didn't realize that this was a trope that long ago. The shootout scene has 9,000 cuts in it.
Oh, it certainly does.
Well, that scene where they're like showing the head terrorists get captured. It's all cuts. I don't know how you make a scene that's all cuts, but they did it. Like
it makes even less sense in this shootout because you're in a area that's like 9 square feet.
It's super tight, right?
And it makes it look like they're like on opposite ends of this unnamed baseball park. You know, like the geography's all over the fucking place.
I know
it's like Liam Neeson jumping a fence. Like,
I know none of us watch wrestling anymore, but the Miz is the new WWE champion.
Good for him.
Glad they give somebody needs some exposure.
So now they land the plane, I guess. Kurt Russell, who I absolutely adore, but man, Kurt, he's now, I guess, in charge of SEAL Team 6 out of respect. And then he tries to, he's going to get debriefed by the Pentagon and decides to have Halle Berry come along so he can try and, like, get his way into her jeans. And then the movie ends.
Kurt Russell also not at all bothered by I don't know how many people that got blown out of the side of this plane.
No, it's all his day's work for Kurt Russell. Well, he's all about the numbers, baby. It's
Also, Halle Berry is really into baseball, which is the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So
no hot chicks into baseball.
Let's talk about because The Rock is the most comparison-worthy movie, right? Even to the point of like what TJ said about like the little spy camera coming up and almost hitting the foot.
Actually, I think God's I know The Rock because of the VX thing and the SEALs. I think this movie is like really comparable to the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. If that movie sucked. So it's a lot more like the remake of Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but there's no lick my bunghole motherfucker line.
Yeah, there is no bungholes.
But yeah, like, so you got like fish out of water analyst goes in with SEAL team and whatever to get gassed from guys who have questionable motivations, but one dude in the bad guys squad double crosses the other bad guys squad and still makes the bad shit happen. Like, but with better action beats and a lot. I mean, think about how much more happens in The Rock. Like, how much more good shit happens.
I remember at some point looking up from my Game Boy and them saying, like, that's a whole other thing, but them saying, like, we will kill one hostage every 10 minutes or whatever. That should happen at the very beginning of the movie, and they should start killing people, like, to actually give you some kind of stakes in this nebulous bomb that is not going to go off.
There's a scene where they're 25 miles away from the strike zone. We've got 15 minutes. Like, they're moving at 400 miles an hour. They are not. You don't have 15 minutes to play with. You've got significantly less. Like,
yeah, this movie sucks, dude. This movie's so fucking boring. I can't put into words how boring this movie is.
Like, it's like trying really hard. It's not like I feel like it's not shot incompetently, but it's just boring as piss.
I disagree with that. I think that the movie is shot in the most. It looks like a TV show. Everything is shot in the most boring way possible. Like,
the lighting's really, really flat. Like, I hate to say this because I never had to do it, and I don't know if this is just a function of him being miscast, but Kurt Russell's kind of bad in this movie.
I mean, he's trying to, like, he's not. It was stunt casting done wrong. This is not his role.
He sucks in this movie. He's really bad. I love.
I don't think he's bad. He's just bland. Like I don't think he was well. I'm gonna always defend Kurt Russell. I don't think he was coached up correctly, or he was
Kurt
doing.
Russell needs to be leading the SEAL team, right?
He's it's not right to see Kurt Russell cucked all movie.
No.
Kurt Russell needs to just be reprising or pre-prizing his role from Stargate.
Yeah. Right. Stargate, which is also sort of this same movie.
Yeah, have James Spader as the fucking nebbish guy that lands
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is get rid of Steven Seagal, get Michael Biehn in here. We can fix this movie, but is Steven
Seagal in it just to be killed early in the movie as a swerve? Because
I think it has to be because I remember there being a lot of outrage. People thought this was a Steven Seagal movie.
The trailer, dude. He dies in the trailer. I never saw this movie, but I remember we're not going to make it. You are. That's in the trailer. So it wasn't a big shock that he was going to die. Also, I think this is the best Steven Seagal acting we've ever seen. I thought he was pretty good in this movie.
Because he barely does anything.
Well, I know, but I thought he was good in it. I thought his acting was better than anything that we've watched.
That's not a high stake, but yeah. Okay.
No, he sucks. He's terrible. He's an awful actor. And
I don't know. He's pretty great in the William Forsythe one, whichever one that is.
Oh yeah, I
don't like you. I never liked you. Fuck you.
Yeah. But I think, like we've said before, William Forsythe doing crack,
legit.
The guy who directed this has edited good movies. He's edited good movies. He edited 47 Ronin, which I enjoyed.
Okay. But that requires somebody else to make an interesting movie.
It's like Norv Turner was a great offensive coordinator. Was never a good head coach.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's the same thing we said before about the Mitch Hedberg joke. It's you're an editor. Can you direct? It's sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of difference between being a director and being an editor.
This movie feels like somebody Rennie Harlan was attached to it and it fell apart somehow. You know what I mean?
Rennie Harlan's executive decision would be a banger.
Be a much better.
Sure.
People be hanging their ass out at the bottom of that plane. They wouldn't have signaled. They wouldn't. Here's how Rennie Harlan's version would be. It wouldn't have been Morse code off the taillights. They would have taken a terrorist and strapped a note to him and threw him at the back. Would have slapped onto the windshield of an F-14.
Better movie.
They're on there.
That sounds amazing.
Also, Steven Seagal wouldn't have died. The plane would have broken in half, and Steven Seagal would have had to hold it together in midair like Spider-Man until it could land it.
All right,
this movie's.
Let's just get into Five Knuckle Shuffles. I feel like enough has been said.
This might be our worst month of actual president movies. Oh yeah, there's no president. Might add, there's no president in this movie.
President.
He is referred to, or she is referred to, but they are not.
But like Sean, how many of you saw this trailer and was like, "Oh, the president's in this movie"?
Well, they'd have to be.
I thought executive decision on the.
I thought Kurt Russell was the president, to be honest. Anyway, Alex, Five Knuckle Shuffle.
I have nothing to say about this movie.
Are you abstaining?
Did you watch it?
I did. I watched it last night.
That's the best reaction I've ever heard in this show. No more show. It's over.
This movie is just.
I'm sorry, hold on, Alex. I don't want
or Alex, the fucking independent representative from North Dakota who just refuses to vote on anything.
Abstain.
He's caucusing with us.
Abstain.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My score is a 5 because this movie is infinitely boring and forgettable.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give off a few fun facts about the movie. Halle Berry made $1 million for this movie.
Oh, she earned everything.
And also the baseball joke at the end is because she was married to David Justice at the time.
Oh shit! Yeah, he kicked her ass.
One of the terrorists. I think he was wearing a flowered shirt, a tall, skinny one. He was Yinsid from Iron Man.
Oh.
The guy, the
cave guy.
Doctor, the cave doctor. This movie is just nothing. It's a whole bunch of nothing. And if you would have told me this movie was the sum of all fears, I would have said okay. Or if you would have shown me the sum of all fears and said it's this, sure. And I didn't see the
this
title
world
cards.
where you have this very specific neurological disorder where you can't differentiate milquetoast thrillers.
Yeah, it's like I have Oliver Sacks' brain disorder for boring, like, slightly political military thrillers. This movie's just.
He's watched 7 different movies in a row, and he thinks they're all the general's daughter. It's really sad.
A drinking challenge at a bar called the Sum of All Beers.
It should be at a gay bar. It'd be the sum of all queers. Oh, jeez. Oh, that was.
Well, why didn't you go with the cum of all queers? Like,
there we go.
Yeah.
You just make White Russians all night. Yeah, this movie is just like it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
I agree.
I mean, I know why it got made. Apparently, Steven Seagal isn't in it for so long because Kurt Russell didn't want to work with him.
I'm not surprised.
Don't blame him
because he had there were a bunch of allegations that just come out about Steven Seagal beating his wife.
Yeah.
So Kurt Russell didn't want to work with him, so they killed him off early. And then Steven Seagal fought with the studio about it and refused to show up for work because he didn't want. Initially, this is all from the IMDb trivia part, so some of this might not be actually like fact. I guess originally the sleeve was supposed to decompress and his head was supposed to explode, which probably would have given this movie a 10. That would have been how he died.
That'd have been so good.
I probably would have given it a 10. But yeah, it's a 5. Like next week we're watching Executive Decision.
No, we're watching Air Force One next week.
Okay. We'll probably get the same reaction.
Probably going to be just yeah.
TJ.
Did we lose somebody? What happened?
No.
Oh, I'm good.
It's a 2 for me, dog. This thing sucks. I agree with Alec. It's kind of a nothing, but it elicited too much of a strong response from me. It was just so fucking boring, and like I was just waiting for something to happen, and then the movie, like I'm gonna just indulge me for a second. There was a time a long time ago when I was working my other company where there's a situation where the boss at the time in the office, he let everybody go home early, right? Everybody, except for me. And then 10 minutes before all the time off, he goes, okay, TJ, you can go home. And it's like, that's more insulting than just letting me finish it out. You gave me 10 minutes where you gave everybody else half a day. This movie has action in the last 10 minutes after you bored me to fucking the whole movie. Then you blow up the plane, and then you have like drama and gunshots. It was awful. It's fucking awful. It's boring. It's not really gory or fun.
I'm shocked this got an R rating, but it did.
For what? I don't even remember.
Yeah, they didn't even really cuss in it, did they?
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's fucking terrible. It's a 2. Yeah, it was bad. It was just really bad. It was really tough to focus on this movie at all. And apparently I didn't because I thought a president was in this movie.
There you go.
Sean.
0. It would be a 5 if it wasn't 5 minutes longer than fucking Mandingo, which is a movie I think takes place over several generations. This movie is 2 hours and 12 minutes where nothing happens. It's a half hour shorter than Blade Runner 2049, like for more
That's
modern.
Insane. Yeah.
This movie is so long. Like I could not believe because I just assumed it would be like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
for some reason.
No, it's impossibly long.
And like, what is happening in that whole middle? Like, we talk about a soggy middle. Like, Jesus Christ, it's like a fucking bag Raisin Bran soggy. Like, it's really bad. Like the Malto Meal cereal.
The Malto Meal Dino Bites are the shit.
I've never had them, but
give me them Fruity Pebbles knockoffs all day long.
It is fucking atrocious. Like. And like the action scenes are edited so badly. Like I said, it's like almost impossible to follow a shootout that takes place in a area smaller than my bathroom. Like it sucks. Like it is offensively boring. Like like at least President Devil had that weird suicide in it. At least like that movie was incredibly boring too. And I'm not trying to defend my pick because it was the worst movie I'd ever seen up until yesterday. Like. At least there's weird shit happening in this. This is so, like, by the numbers, you've seen it a billion times, but The Rock is a movie you've seen a billion times and still super exciting.
Yeah.
Because I think what makes The Rock is, like, the characters are, like, bouncing off of each other, even if it, like, some of it's, you know, probably kind of cringy now. Like, there's banter and shit's going on. It's just, like, this is just, like, John Leguizamo whispering to Miles Bennett Dyson, like, for 45 minutes, and then a Coke can rolls away, and then Kurt Russell tries to fuck a stewardess, and he becomes a president. I don't know. Like, it's really bad. Yeah, this movie's unwatchable. Legit, I like watched it sorta, and then feeling like I didn't put in enough effort for the show, I went back and watched the last 40 minutes, which must have been right after they scrambled the F-16s because I totally missed that part.
Which is like a pretty big part of the movie.
Like, I want to make Cliff Notes or whatever they are now, or Sparks Notes for movies, just for the movies we watch, so I don't have to watch them. But I don't know how I would do that.
Well, I told Stacy yesterday I'm going to start watching some of these movies on YouTube so I can watch them at 2 times.
Oh, that's a good idea.
2 times speed.
Again,
she was like, wouldn't it sound? You wouldn't be able to hear the sound. I was like, no, they just sound like the chipmunks.
It doesn't even matter. Who cares? Like,
this movie, who cares?
Yeah, this isn't the movie's fault, but this movie again suffers badly from the watching it by myself.
I don't think there's not enough for us to joan on in this movie to like enjoy it as a group. Like, there's nothing to this.
But there's a certain, I don't know. You guys are watching them by yourselves mostly, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
There's a certain level of insufferability that these movies reach solo that, like, just us being in a room together, I would feel better about life in general, even if the movie was terrible. You know what I mean?
At least I know once we leave, we're going to be still alive.
Yeah.
Survive this.
But, yeah, so that's it, Gogs.
Yeah, I'm echoing Alex's point. This is a 5 for me. This is like in my opinion, this movie has like, I don't disagree. It's insufferable. It's awful, but it's insufferable. But it's gone. It's vapor. It's nothing. It is completely by the numbers. It is completely safe. It is like like you can't. It's so bland. It is it was the fucking the 98 Honda Accord of movies. Like, there's nothing fancy about this movie. It gets you from A to B, and then that's all there is to it. Like, I don't know. Like no one's good in it really, except I think the main terrorist is good in it. I think he's actually he's trying something.
You just like Poirot.
I just like Poirot, but like you don't get like the whole thing's just. It's dumb and it's boring, and you've seen it. The problem is you've seen it done better so many other times. Like I just don't give a shit. Like, they try and make it's, and I'll completely forget about it. I'll probably, if you ask me in 2 weeks, I'm like, who played the president? I'll bet it was Kurt Russell. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just bad, and I can't believe it made as much. I think it made. I don't know how it made that much money. I guess it caught everyone on the. I don't know how many repeat viewings Executive Decisions had.
Well, I think this is also in a time too when every theater didn't have 52 screens in it. You know what I mean?
Right. So I guess we're gonna watch. What are we gonna? We're gonna watch Executive Decision, and we're gonna watch U571. Well, we saw U571 last week, so let's watch Executive Decision. But yeah, it's terrible.
It's so bad.
Yeah, so there we go. Executive Decision. We did it.
All right. Well, next week it's my pick.
Did Sean even give his rating?
Didn't he?
Yeah, it was a 0.
It was a 0.
Oh yeah. 2 5s.
Next week it's my pick, which is Air Force One, starring Harrison Ford.
And we're not doing the song?
Yeah, Yeah.
I've been yelling, "Get off my plane!" to myself in my apartment all week. So
you're the president part-time.
Yeah. I expect it's going to be really bad. Isn't Gary Oldman one of the
Gary
terrorists?
Oldman's the bad guy.
Oh, that can't be that bad then.
No,
right?
I remember seeing Air Force One in the theater and thinking. I remember my biggest complaint was they spent a lot of time going like between levels. Like, how could they not find this guy? Because he spends the entire time. He's basically like
they spent a lot of time stomping in his Air Force One.
He's like fucking the president becomes a solid snake. Like he is just like sliding through this plane, like stealth killing everybody. I'm like, how can you not just walk through an entire plane by now? But I don't know. Maybe the geometry of the plane will be explained.
So, because the following week will be my birthday pick, I'm going to announce that now.
Go ahead.
My birthday pick is Battle Royale 2.
Sweet, I own that movie.
And it's on my Plex, but I've also put Battle Royale 1 on my Plex if any of you want to get caught up and watch the first one and the second one together.
I got the DVDs or the Blu-rays.
Why this movie made so much money?
Battle Royale 2 is my pick. I feel like it's a movie we've talked about a bunch on the show. I feel like everyone would probably enjoy it. And I think it's a movie that doesn't get reviewed enough. No one talks about Battle Royale 2, and I really like it. So.
Because it's fucking insane and like super anti-American.
It's very anti-American.
Completing the circle from the beginning of the show, Wolfgang Peterson directed Air Force One. Guess what else he directed?
The Air Force One music video?
No, that would be awesome. The ultimate parents movie that we were talking about for 20 minutes. Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm going to make it a double feature.
Hell yeah.
So Executive Decision, the reason it made so much money is that it came out on a weekend, apparently on its own. Nothing else was released that weekend. And then it didn't have like an adult movie to compete with it for 1, 2, 3 till maybe Fear a month later, or maybe The Substitute 5 weeks later.
The Substitute.
So it basically had the theaters to it. It basically had the theaters to itself for like a month.
Well,
God, what a year for movies that must have been.
12 Monkeys came out that year.
Broken Arrow came out that year.
Oh, fucking Broken Arrow.
Screamers came out that year.
Oh, we gotta watch.
You remember when everybody was lined up in the theater watching Screamers.
Screamers.
To watch Broken Arrow.
Oh, I'm surprised we haven't watched Broken Arrow.
Oh, can we do... pause. Can we do Christmas Slater?
Ooh. Is that all Christian Slater movies?
All Christian Slater movies?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can do that for Easter because those are Christians.
No, we got WWE Easter. Come on now.
Come on now.
Also, Christmas and Easter are two separate holidays.
Yeah, but Christian Slater. See what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
For the Christians.
It's not good.
Fine.
Are we doing?
Fine.
Are we? Point of order. Are we doing? Are we doing? Are we doing WWE Easter in April or March of this year?
Easter's in April. Easter's in April.
Okay, so April. What's March?
For March, I submitted Chadwick Bose's March.
Oh, that's going to be a sad month.
Gogs submitted Forward March with all military movies.
Well,
we can just do all Chadwick Boseman military movies.
We'll do.
Chadwick Boseman's got a bunch of movies.
They're
not all sad. 42.
No, it's sad because he died. That's
it's a tribute.
I'm fine with that. Yeah,
he's got that 21 Bridges.
Yeah, I never saw that.
No, me either. I don't think anybody saw it.
I remember that trailer a lot because it's like right around when movies ended.
Yeah, they showed that trailer a million times.
They showed that trailer a million times, and it was all about the Russo brothers.
Yeah,
I want to say we saw it. They ran it before John Wick 3. Like that was one of the last movies I saw in the theater. I may have
seen that trailer more than any trailer I've ever seen in the history of movies.
Yeah, I'm with Alex.
I saw it so many times.
Yeah, I definitely saw it a million times. All right, let's do Chadwick Bose's March.
He's got the Thurgood Marshall biopic. He's got the James Brown biopic. He's in Draft Day. Oh, we can watch Draft Day.
Oh, hell yeah.
I kind of want to watch Draft Day. I've heard it's not that bad.
I'm picking
the Browns.
Yeah. Is he in Detroit?
He is not. That's John Boyega.
Well,
That's a pretty
I know
movie.
he's in it, but I know if he was also.
Oh no, he's not. He's not.
I didn't get them mixed up.
He is not in Detroit. I watched that a few months ago.
He's in the Name of the King, though, right? I still haven't seen that, right?
You should see that. Message from the King.
Message from the King.
That movie slaps.
Yeah.
96 was not a bad year for movies. There's some good ones in here. Space Jam was 96, as was Jingle All the Way.
I didn't listen to the episode, but I did watch some other video talking about Space Jam, and the guy was like, "How come Michael Jordan lives in a shittier house than I do?"
Oh, hey, Sean. You know the thing where I was like, didn't we watch something or it was like always the Space Jam theme? It's a Botchamania. They used to.
Oh, okay, cool.
They used to do like the Come On and Slam. They did that like all the time in Botchamania. Anyway, all right, everybody. We'll see you next week for Air Force One, and then after that, Battle Royal 2.
I didn't listen to the Space Jam episode yet. Did you play the Monstar Anthem?
Yes, I did.
Fuck yeah!
Did you guys like the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think we all liked it.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
And then we also learned.
Oh,
that
so it's as good as Repo, man.
We also learned that Alec hates LeBron James in that episode.
Yeah, that's just an old man position.
Yeah,
powerful.
No, the I hate LeBron. That's your like line in the sand. That's like when everybody's dad hated Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, but Ken Griffey Jr. was my generation. He was cool.
Ken Griffey Jr. was awesome, and that Nintendo game that he had was great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay.
All right, everybody.
Bless up the kid. All right, later.
Later, dudes.
Bye.
Right a bit.
Little bitch.